You often hear about fake news clogging up people's Facebook feeds, but what about so-called fake games clogging up the Steam library or Greenlight or any way that you would consume games? What about the good games that get lost among the bad games? Well, there might be a solution. This is secondhand from TotalBiscuit and Jim Sterling, who I think are really good and trustworthy at least. But recently they got to visit Valve and talk about changes that Steam is going to make in the future with Gabin, and there's and they came up with a few different pieces of information that would be able to help. So basically, when I say fake games, I don't mean something that's not actually a game, like, hey, I thought I was downloading a game and this is a picture of Jeff Goldblum. And
I would play that though.
You just play it by looking at it and going like,
oh wait, this is what I wanted.
The thing is, it's really good, this picture. But what it is like, I mean, we've definitely seen Jim Sterling point these out before, which are like crappy games, churned out quickly to just make a quick buck. They typically are badly made, are made with other people's assets, or stolen assets even, and they are kind of just really bad. And then we have this whole ecosystem surrounding it with so-called publishers threatening to sue and take down YouTube videos that have bad reviews, and it's just a mess. And then in that mess, perhaps we're losing some good quality games that maybe don't have the marketing power yet, or are just getting clogged in the system. So what they're trying to do over at Steam, according to TotalBiscuit and Jim Sterling, is to lay down the groundwork for something called Steam Direct, which we've already heard about. What they would need to do for this is have a group of people called Steam Explorers. They would play through a queue of games that have not been selling very well, you know, for whatever reason. And if they find a good game in there, they flag it. If a game gets enough flags, then the algorithm will prioritize them higher. Anyone will be able to become an explorer, much like Steam curators. They'll have their own forum to talk. Maybe they can do a multiplayer arranged together, basically. And the curator system is also being overhauled. Valve would be adding functionality like embedded videos, lists, different types of sorting to help people do this. They admitted that a lot of these fake games, or maybe lazy games would be the best way to call it, make their money off of Steam trading cards. So that's something that a lot of people thought was true, and now they're saying, yes, it is. So they will be changing the trading card system, so that's no longer an option. Regular Steam users will have access to data on games, which they would be able to see how many impressions the page got, where they came from, which might be helpful. They wanted to show people that we don't have a crappy game clogging up the system problem. And then there will be improved customer support, which is handled on an external team. They're hoping to clean out the fake games issue overall, or the lazy games issue overall.
Yeah, and I think we've seen something like this if you take into account like the iTunes store, where or like the App Store, where it's a tough process to get your app like into Apple's thing. The same thing with like a big developer of a video game. Like it's tough to get your idea made because they've kind of created this curated system. And so I think the biggest issue that they're going to have is creating a universal kind of like standard that they're gonna have to match every game up to see if whether this is a good game or not, because everybody gets a different experience about playing a video game. Something like Happy Wheels, which is like a dumb physics experiment, is different than something like Breath of the Wild, you know, but you can still get an enjoyment out of either playing it yourself, watching someone else play it, or even things like Goat Simulator or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, this system isn't perfect because it does also rely on what people would define as a good game, and maybe a group of people can discern that, oh, well, we don't like this kind of game, so we're gonna bury it. And we could lose like real solid games through this system designed to do the opposite of that. But it is a problem that needs to be addressed. I mean, even if you look at the Apple App Store, if you go to the game section, a lot of this is just reskinned nonsense. Or if you if you search for something, you'll get like One is the real one, and then a bunch of these are fake. And they suck.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been a victim of it too, where I've seen something on Steam and it's like on sale for like $3. I was like, oh, sure, I'll get it. And I was like, I made a mistake.
Oh, this is terrible. All these assets are the same thing over and over, and it didn't look good the first time.
So, you know, they wheedled me out of $3, but that adds up if they get enough people that spend the money.
It's unfortunate, and it does need to be addressed. Maybe this isn't the best solution, but it's a solution. It's trying.
Yeah. I think this is the direction that they have to move it, because otherwise it would just be like a closed off.
Well, there's always going to be someone who tries to, I guess, game the system and like kind of use it for the opposite of the purpose of what it's for. In an ideal world, you would be discovering great games that are, you know, maybe not, you didn't hear of before, like indie games all the time. It doesn't work that way right now.
Right. I mean, they do, for all of that they do though, they put out like the Humble Indie Bundle, and like they do spotlight games a lot of the time that didn't have a major developer or didn't kind of get the advertising attention that it should have. It's just good to know that they're putting the players of the game kind of in charge of that as well, because now people are going to be searching out those games and really sharing it.
All right, well said. Audience, do you think that this will help address the fake games issue? And do you think it's a good idea to move toward? Let us know what you think below in the comments, and please like and subscribe for more.